The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Proverbs 1 verse 1. I believe God placed this moment in your path tonight. Of all the things you could be hearing, He is inviting you to hear His wisdom calm, clear, and strong enough to steady your heart. Proverbs tells us exactly why it was given. For gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. Proverbs 1 verses 2 to 3. And here is the doorway into all of it. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1 verse 7. My name is Donald. I'm a follower of Jesus and a fellow traveler through long nights and noisy thoughts. I'll read slowly, gently, so each line can land where it's needed most. While you rest, let God's word do the work, clarifying what's confused, quieting what's anxious, and lighting one good next step. What will you hear tonight? Not commentary, scripture, not pressure, peace. Proverbs will speak to choices, friendships, words, work, money, integrity, humility, and the kind of wisdom that protects you from regret. If you were looking for a sign, let it be this. Stay close and listen for the sentence that feels like it was written with you in mind. Skipping ahead might pass it by. Staying might be how you catch it. Before we begin, may I ask something from the heart? If this blesses you, please subscribe, tap like, share this with someone who needs God's peace, and leave a comment below. Your simple support helps carry the word to people who will lay down tonight without comfort, unless we reach them. Together, we can turn many late hours into holy ground. Now settle your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Let your breathing find a gentle rhythm. You don't have to try hard, you only have to listen. As I read, let Proverbs be the soft lantern by your bedside, the steady hand on your shoulder, the quiet voice that keeps you from stumbling. We begin. Unhurried, attentive, and open, trusting that God's wisdom will meet you exactly where you are. As we step into the first chapters of Proverbs, imagine walking into a sacred library of wisdom. The doors open not to shelves of dust and silence, but to living words. Words meant to breathe strength into your spirit, direction into your choices, and peace into your nights. Each proverb is like a lantern placed carefully along a dark path, showing you where to walk and where not to step. The first chapters remind us of the foundation of all wisdom, the fear of the Lord. Not a fear that drives us away, but a reverent awe that keeps our hearts aligned with His truth. You will hear Solomon, a king yet also a father, speaking as though he were sitting right beside you, urging his children not to be swept away by temptation, not to follow the crowd into destruction, but instead to anchor themselves in God's guidance. These chapters speak of wisdom as if she were a voice calling out in the streets, pleading with the simple to listen and live. They describe the blessings of obedience and the dangers of ignoring God's instruction. And they whisper gentle reminders that every step we take tonight, and every thought that fills our minds before sleep, matters. So as I read these words to you, allow your heart to quiet. Allow your breathing to slow. These are not just words on a page. They are God's gift for your journey. Let us begin with Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1. The Proverbs of Solomon son of David, king of Israel. for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. For understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head, and a chain to adorn your neck. My son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, "Come along with us, let's lie in wait for innocent blood, let's ambush some harmless soul, let's swallow them alive, like the grave, and whole like those who go down to the pit, we will get all sorts of valuable things, and fill our houses with plunder. Cast lots with us, we will all share the loot. My son, do not go along with them, do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into evil, they are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net, where every bird can see it. These men lie in wait for their own blood, they ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it. Out in the open wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall she cries out. At the city gate she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery, and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke. Then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand, since you disregard all my advice, and do not accept my rebuke, I in turn will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overwhelm you, then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but will not find me, since they hated knowledge, and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they would not accept my advice, and spurned my rebuke. They will eat the fruit of their ways, and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety, and be at ease, without fear of harm. You've just heard the opening of Proverbs, where wisdom herself calls out to all who would listen. Now let's continue deeper. Imagine Solomon leaning closer, his tone both urgent and tender, as though speaking directly to his son, or to you tonight. He paints wisdom not as a distant idea, but as a treasure hidden just beneath the surface of life, waiting to be sought and found. As you let these words move through your heart, think of them as steady footsteps. Each verse is another step into the path of safety, a way of escape from voices that try to pull you into darkness. Now let us enter chapter 2. Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you accept my words, and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom, and applying your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call out for insight, and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver, and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless, for he guards the course of the just, and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just, and fare every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths, to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong, and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked, and who are devious in their ways. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth, and ignored the covenant she made before God. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return, or attain the paths of life. Thus you will walk in the ways of the good, and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. As chapter 2 closes, notice how wisdom is described. Not passive, not optional, but something to seek as if you were mining for treasure. It's a reminder that every verse of Proverbs is like gold waiting beneath the surface. Tonight, as you drift closer to rest, let these words remind you that God Himself offers wisdom as a shield around your life. We've just walked through chapter 2, where wisdom is pictured as hidden treasure waiting to be sought. Now, Solomon moves us even closer into chapter 3, one of the most beloved portions of Proverbs. Here we hear words that have comforted countless hearts through the centuries. They speak of trust, of leaning not on our own understanding, and of resting in the care of God. As you listen tonight, let these verses be more than sound. They are God's promises to you. Breathe slowly, let your thoughts ease, and let the word of the Lord surround you like a warm blanket. Proverbs chapter 3. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years, and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body, and nourishment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the firstfruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father the son He delights in. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver, and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the watery depths were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Have no fear of sudden disaster, or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked. For the Lord will be at your side, and will keep your foot from being snared. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you," when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor, who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason, when they have done you no harm. Do not envy the violent, or choose any of their ways. For the Lord detests the perverse, but takes the upright into his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. Chapter 3 gives us a treasure of promises, sweet sleep, safe paths, and the assurance that God blesses those who trust him fully. As you close your eyes tonight, let these words sink deep. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. That simple act becomes a doorway into peace. You've just heard Proverbs 3 with its timeless call. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Those words alone could carry you into peace tonight. But Solomon continues now in chapter 4. He speaks like a father urging his children to hold wisdom close, to treat her as the most valuable possession in life. As you listen, picture a parent placing gentle hands on a child's shoulders, saying, "Never let go of this, for it will guard your life." These verses are both instruction and comfort, showing that the path of wisdom is a path of light. Proverbs chapter 4. Listen, my sons, to a father's instruction. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning, so do not forsake my teaching. For I too was a son to my father, still tender and cherished by my mother. Then he taught me, and he said to me, "Take hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you." The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you a garland to grace your head, and present you with a glorious crown. Listen, my son, accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. I instruct you in the way of wisdom, and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction, do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it, do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. For they cannot rest until they do evil. They are robbed of sleep till they make someone stumble. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble. My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to one's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. Chapter 4 shines with one unforgettable truth. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. As you settle deeper into rest, let that verse guard your night like a shield. Your heart, surrendered to God, becomes the wellspring of peace that flows even as you sleep. We have just walked through Proverbs 4, where the fatherly voice of Solomon urged us to guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. What a treasure to hold onto as we prepare for rest. Now, in chapter 5, the tone shifts into a heartfelt warning. Solomon speaks with urgency about temptation, especially the kind that promises pleasure but leads to ruin. These words are both protective and tender. They remind us that God's wisdom is not about restriction but about safeguarding life, marriage, and the soul itself. As you hear them tonight, let them serve as gentle walls of protection around your heart and mind, keeping you safe under God's care. Proverbs Chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Turn your ear to my words of insight, that you may maintain discretion, and your lips may preserve knowledge. For the lips of the adulterous woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil, but in the end she is bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lead straight to the grave. She gives no thought to the way of life. Her paths wander aimlessly, but she does not know it. Now then, my sons, listen to me. Do not turn aside from what I say. Keep to a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house, lest you lose your honor to others, and your dignity to one who is cruel, lest strangers feast on your wealth, and your toil enrich the house of another. At the end of your life you will groan, when your flesh and body are spent. You will say, "How I hated discipline, how my heart spurned correction. I would not obey my teachers, or turn my ear to my instructors, and I was soon in serious trouble, in the assembly of God's people. Drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in the public squares? Let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. A loving doe, a graceful deer. May her breasts satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. Why, my son, be intoxicated with another man's wife? Why embrace the bosom of a wayward woman? For your ways are in full view of the Lord, and he examines all your paths. The evil deeds of the wicked ensnare them. The cords of their sins hold them fast. For lack of discipline they will die, led astray by their own great folly. Chapter 5 reminds us that God's wisdom shields us from regret. Temptation may appear sweet like honey, but its end is bitter. Tonight, let this chapter cover you with protection, reminding you that the Lord examines all your ways and guards those who stay close to him. We've just listened to Proverbs 5, where Solomon warned against the trap of temptation that steals dignity and life. Now in chapter 6, the wisdom becomes very practical. These verses are like a loving parent's checklist, warnings about careless decisions, laziness, dishonesty, and destructive behavior. Each image is vivid. A man ensnared by his own promises, the ant teaching diligence, the troublemaker whose downfall is certain. Listen carefully and you'll hear a God who cares about every detail of daily life. His wisdom is not only lofty, it is practical, guiding us step by step, even into restful nights like this one. Proverbs Chapter 6. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, you have been trapped by what you said, ensnared by the words of your mouth. So do this, my son, to free yourself, since you have fallen into your neighbor's hands. Go to the point of exhaustion and give your neighbor no rest. Allow no sleep to your eyes, no slumber to your eyelids. Free yourself, like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer, and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man, a troublemaker and a villain, who goes about with a corrupt mouth, who winks maliciously with his eye, signals with his feet, and motions with his fingers, who plots evil with deceit in his heart. He always stirs up conflict. Therefore disaster will overtake him in an instant. He will suddenly be destroyed without remedy. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. My son, keep your father's command, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Bind them always on your heart, fasten them around your neck. When you walk, they will guide you. When you sleep, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will speak to you. For this command is a lamp, this teaching is a light, and correction and instruction are the way to life, keeping you from your neighbor's wife, from the smooth talk of a wayward woman. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. For a prostitute can be had for a loaf of bread, but another man's wife preys on your very life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? So is he who sleeps with another man's wife. No one who touches her will go unpunished. People do not despise a thief if he steals, to satisfy his hunger when he is starving. Yet if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold, though it costs him all the wealth of his house. But a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. Blows and disgrace are his lot, and his shame will never be wiped away. For jealousy arouses a husband's fury, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will not accept any compensation. He will refuse a bribe, however great it is. Chapter 6 shows us that God's wisdom is both warning and protection. It urges diligence, honesty, and purity. Let these words remind you tonight that God's teaching is a lamp, a light guiding your steps, guarding your sleep, and filling your tomorrow with peace. We've just listened to chapter 6, filled with practical wisdom and vivid warnings. Now Solomon turns his heart to an even more urgent plea in chapter 7. Once again, he speaks as a father to his child, urging them to hold wisdom as if it were life itself. He warns about seduction and the devastating consequences of giving in to sin. As you listen, notice how the words create a picture. A young man drifting near danger, unaware of the trap waiting for him. It's a reminder that wisdom not only teaches us what is right, but also shields us from what would destroy us. Let these verses be a covering of discernment over your mind tonight. Proverbs Chapter 7. My son, keep my words, and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands, and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, "You are my sister," and to insight, "You are my relative." They will keep you from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words. At the window of my house, I looked down through the lattice. I saw among the simple, I noticed among the young men, a youth who had no sense. He was going down the street near her corner, walking along in the direction of her house. At twilight, as the day was fading, as the dark of night set in, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute and with crafty intent. She is unruly and defiant. Her feet never stay at home. Now in the street, now in the squares. At every corner she lurks. She took hold of him and kissed him. And with a brazen face she said, "Today I fulfilled my vows, and I have food from my fellowship offering at home. So I came out to meet you. I looked for you and have found you. I have covered my bed with colored linens from Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let's drink deeply of love till morning. Let's enjoy ourselves with love. My husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took his purse filled with money and will not be home till full moon." With persuasive words, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. All at once he followed her, like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose, till an arrow pierces his liver, like a bird darting into a snare. little knowing it will cost him his life. Now then, my sons, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart turn to her ways, or stray into her paths. Many are the victims she has brought down. Her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is a highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. Proverbs 7 paints a vivid warning, a reminder that sin often disguises itself as sweetness but leads only to sorrow. Tonight, let this chapter stand as a shield of protection over your thoughts and your choices. God's word guards you, even as you rest. In chapter 7, we saw a sobering picture of temptation leading a soul toward destruction. Now, in chapter 8, the voice changes completely. Wisdom herself calls out, not in secret, but in the open, lifting her voice for all to hear. This is one of the most beautiful passages in Proverbs, where wisdom is described almost like a companion, an eternal presence that was with God from the beginning of creation. As you hear these words, picture wisdom standing at the crossroads, inviting you to choose life, understanding, and blessing. Let this chapter remind you that God's wisdom is not hidden. It is available, calling out to anyone who will listen, even you tonight. Proverbs chapter 8. Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the highest point along the way, where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Beside the gate leading into the city, at the entrance, she cries aloud, "To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind. You who are simple, gain prudence. You who are foolish, set your hearts on it. Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true, for my lips detest wickedness. All the words of my mouth are just. None of them is crooked or perverse. To the discerning all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. Choose my instruction instead of silver, knowledge rather than choice gold, for wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her. I, wisdom, dwell together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior and perverse speech. Counsel and sound judgment are mine. I have insight, I have power. By me kings reign, and rulers issue decrees that are just. By me princes govern, and nobles all who rule on earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold. What I yield surpasses choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, along the paths of justice, bestowing a rich inheritance on those who love me, and making their treasuries full. The Lord brought me forth as the first of his works, before his deeds of old. I was formed long ages ago, at the very beginning when the world came to be. When there were no watery depths, I was given birth. When there were no springs overflowing with water. Before the mountains were settled in place. Before the hills I was given birth. Before he made the world or its fields, or any of the dust of the earth. I was there when he set the heavens in place, when he marked out the horizon on the face of the deep, when he established the clouds above, and fixed securely the fountains of the deep. when he gave the sea its boundary, so the waters would not overstep his command, and when he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was constantly at his side. I was filled with delight day after day, rejoicing always in his presence, rejoicing in his whole world, and delighting in mankind. Now then, my children, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Blessed are those who listen to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway. For those who find me find life, and receive favor from the Lord. But those who fail to find me harm themselves. All who hate me love death. What a picture of wisdom, present before the world began, delighting in creation and in humanity. Tonight, let these words remind you that to embrace wisdom is to embrace life itself. God's wisdom was with him from the beginning and is offered freely to you now. In chapter 8, wisdom revealed herself as a voice calling from the very beginning of creation, inviting, guiding, delighting in God's world and in humanity. Now, in chapter 9, the invitation continues. Here, wisdom prepares a feast, setting a table for those who will choose life. But alongside wisdom's call, another voice is present, the voice of folly, which also calls out, luring the unsuspecting into ruin. This chapter places both voices before us, one leading to life and blessing, the other to death and destruction. As you listen, let wisdom's invitation be the one you hear tonight, filling your spirit with peace and strength. Proverbs chapter 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls. From the highest point of the city, let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, come, eat my food, and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insults. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise and they will love you. Instruct the wise and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous and they will add to their learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house, on a seat at the highest point of the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, stolen water is sweet. Food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. Chapter 9 sets 2 invitations before us: wisdom's feast and folly's trap. One offers insight and life. The other hides death behind stolen sweetness. Tonight, as you rest, hear wisdom's call more clearly than any other voice. She prepares a table for you, full of peace, insight, and life everlasting. We have reached Proverbs 10, a turning point in the book. Up until now, Solomon has spoken in longer lessons, urging his children to pursue wisdom and avoid the traps of folly. But beginning here, the style changes. Each verse becomes a short, sharp proverb, almost like pearls strung together, each carrying its own weight of wisdom. These sayings may feel simple at first, but each one shines with truth. They contrast the righteous and the wicked, the diligent and the lazy, the wise and the foolish. As you listen, imagine each line like a single drop of water. Together they form a stream of wisdom, flowing steadily to refresh your heart as you prepare for rest. Proverbs Chapter 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother. Ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. He who gathers crops in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son. Blessings crown the head of the righteous, but violence overwhelms the mouth of the wicked. The name of the righteous is used in blessings, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. Whoever winks maliciously causes grief, and a chattering fool comes to ruin. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers over all wrongs. Wisdom is found on the lips of the discerning, but a rod is for the back of one who has no sense. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. The wealth of the rich is their fortified city, but poverty is the ruin of the poor. The wages of the righteous is life, but the earnings of the wicked are sin and death. Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. Whoever conceals hatred with lying lips and spreads slander is a fool. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little value. The lips of the righteous nourish many, but fools die for lack of sense. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. A fool finds pleasure in wicked schemes, but a person of understanding delights in wisdom. What the wicked dread will overtake them. What the righteous desire will be granted. When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so are sluggards to those who send them. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. The prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hopes of the wicked come to nothing. The way of the Lord is a refuge for the blameless, but it is the ruin of those who do evil. The righteous will never be uprooted, but the wicked will not remain in the land. From the mouth of the righteous comes the fruit of wisdom, but a perverse tongue will be silenced. The lips of the righteous know what finds favor, but the mouth of the wicked only what is perverse. Chapter 10 flows like a river of contrasts. Wisdom versus folly, diligence versus laziness, love versus hatred. Each line is a reminder that our choices build either joy or grief, life or death. Tonight, let the Proverbs guide your heart gently toward righteousness, where peace and safety dwell. You have just listened to the first 10 chapters of Proverbs, a treasury of wisdom that stretches from warnings against temptation to the promise of sweet sleep for those who trust in the Lord. Each verse has been like a lantern lighting your path, reminding you that righteousness brings peace, while folly leads only to ruin. Think back for a moment. In chapter 1, wisdom cried out in the streets, pleading to be heard. In chapter 3, we were invited to trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not on our own understanding. In chapter 4, we heard the call to guard our hearts, because from them flow the springs of life. And in chapter 10, wisdom became a steady rhythm of short, piercing truths, contrasting the life of the righteous with the end of the wicked. Every line points us back to the same truth. God's wisdom is not distant. It is calling, guiding, and covering those who are willing to listen. Tonight, as you settle into rest, let these words continue to echo in your heart. Allow them to shape your thoughts, soften your anxieties, and remind you that you are under the care of a God who watches over you without slumber. And before we move forward into the next chapters, let me pause to thank you sincerely. Thank you for listening, for allowing God's word to fill your night. My name is Donald, and it is my joy to walk with you through Scripture. But this journey does not end with just one night. Together, we can keep opening the Word and spreading it to others who need peace. So may I gently ask, if these words have blessed you tonight, please subscribe to this channel, click like, and share this video with someone who needs encouragement. And leave a comment below. Your words may be the very encouragement another soul is waiting to read. Every small action you take helps to carry God's word to more people who long for hope, guidance, and rest. As we end this part, let us carry forward one final promise from these chapters. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Proverbs 9 verse 10. That truth is not only a verse, it is a foundation for your life. Rest now, knowing that wisdom is watching over you, that God Himself is your shield, and that His word is alive, even in the quiet of the night. Next, we continue deeper into Solomon's wisdom, where discipline, faith, and guidance unfold in chapters 11 through 20. Stay with me, and let the Word of God continue to cover you like a blanket of peace. As we journey deeper into the sacred book of Proverbs, we now arrive at a turning point. Here, wisdom does not whisper only in gentle tones. It speaks with clarity, contrasting the way of righteousness with the downfall of the foolish. Imagine walking into a grand hall where two paths stretch before you. One path gleams with light, built on integrity, kindness, and reverence for God. The other path lies in shadows, paved with deceit, selfishness, and destruction. Each proverb we are about to hear is like a lantern, shining light on the decisions we face each day. Let your mind settle now. Release the tension in your body. Allow the Word of God to flow over you like a gentle river at twilight. Tonight, as you hear these chapters, don't strive to analyze every word. Just let them surround you. Each verse carries truth that has preserved generations, and tonight, it will guard your heart as you rest. Now, let us begin with Proverbs chapter 11, read word for word from Scripture. Proverbs 11. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men perisheth. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. When it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. By the blessing of the upright the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He that is void of wisdom despiseth his neighbor, but a man of understanding holdeth his peace. A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it, and he that hath suretyship is sure. A gracious woman retaineth honor, and strong men retain riches. The merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. As righteousness tendeth to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. They that are of a froward heart are abomination to the Lord, but such as are upright in their way are his delight. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is that scattereth and yet increaseth, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but it tendeth to poverty. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. He that diligently seeketh good procureth favor, but he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth, much more the wicked and the sinner. Take a gentle breath. Let these words settle into your heart. Already, we see how Proverbs draws a sharp line between righteousness and wickedness, yet it always invites us to walk in the light. And so, with a peaceful spirit, we continue onward into chapter 12. Now, as we continue, imagine stepping deeper into this sacred library of wisdom. Each new chapter is like a scroll gently unrolled, its words written not only for ancient kings and prophets, but for you, tonight, right here as you rest. The counsel of Proverbs never grows old. It breathes life and guidance into every generation. Chapter 12 will now speak to us. It begins with a tender but firm reminder that loving discipline and correction is a path to wisdom, while resisting it leads to foolishness. Let these words not only reach your ears, but also your heart. Relax your body, unclench your jaw, and allow Scripture to carry you into peace. Proverbs 12. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that mocketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. The wicked are overthrown, and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. A man shall be commended according to his wisdom, but he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. He that is despised, and hath a servant, is better than he that honoureth himself, and lacketh bread. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. The wicked desireth the net of evil men, but the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. He that speaketh truth sheweth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Heaviness in the heart of man mocketh it stoop, but a good word mocketh it glad. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death. Pause now. Breathe gently. Did you notice how Proverbs 12 touches nearly every corner of life? Speech, work, relationships, even how we treat animals. Such detail reminds us that God cares about the smallest aspects of our daily walk. And so, with hearts open, we will continue forward into the next scroll. Proverbs Chapter 13, where wisdom shines even brighter. As we continue this journey, let your spirit feel the calm weight of God's word. Each proverb is like a drop of living water, refreshing your heart while preparing your mind for deep rest. Tonight, wisdom comes as both a comfort and a challenge. It invites us to walk carefully, to speak truthfully, and to sow righteousness that will bring peace. Now we open the next scroll, Proverbs chapter 13. Let these words flow over you gently, like a soft breeze through the trees at night. Proverbs 13. A wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressors shall eat violence. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. The soul of the sluggard desireth, and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome, and cometh to shame. Righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. There is that mocketh himself rich, yet hath nothing. There is that mocketh himself poor, yet hath great riches. The ransom of a man's life are his riches, but the poor heareth not rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoiceth, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Hope deferred mocketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. Every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly. A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools to depart from evil. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. Let your heart rest on this final verse. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul. What a gentle promise, that God's way always satisfies, not just the body, but the soul itself. The beauty of chapter 13 lies in its contrasts. Diligence against laziness, wisdom against folly, patience against pride. Each line is like a compass, quietly pointing us back to the path of life. Now, with this wisdom fresh in your spirit, let us continue to the next chapter, Proverbs 14, where light and shadow are contrasted even more vividly. We now turn to the next chapter, where Proverbs paints vivid pictures of wisdom and folly side by side. As you listen, imagine each verse as a candle lit in the darkness, guiding your steps, showing where to walk and where not to tread. Chapter 14 reminds us that while foolishness tears down, wisdom builds. While pride blinds, Humility opens the way to life. Take a deep breath. Let go of the thoughts of the day and receive these words as both instruction and comfort. Proverbs 14. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despiseth him. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom, and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Even in laughter the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth, and departeth from evil, but the fool raggeth, and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do they not err that devise evil? But mercy and truth shall be to them that devise good. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. A true witness delivereth souls, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. In the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his Maker, but he that honoureth him hath mercy on the poor. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. Wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causeth shame. Notice how this chapter closes with a powerful truth. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Wisdom is not only for individuals but for entire communities and nations. It uplifts, protects, and secures the future. With that thought, let us move quietly and reverently into the next passage. Proverbs 15, where words, attitudes, and prayers are weighed in the balance of God's truth. We now arrive at Proverbs chapter 15, a chapter that feels like a quiet mirror, reflecting back the weight of our words, the posture of our hearts, and the eyes of God who sees all. Here, wisdom reminds us that gentle speech calms, that prayer is heard by heaven, and that the way of life is always tied to humility. Close your eyes if you'd like. Let these words become a gentle current, carrying away the noise of the day. Every verse is a reminder that the God who created you also listens to you, and He delights in righteousness. Proverbs 15. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is His delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but He loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart mocketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. The way of the slothful man is as an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. A wise son mocketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Without counsel purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it! The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but He will establish the border of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but He heareth the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report mocketh the bones fat. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Did you feel the rhythm of this chapter? It begins with the power of a soft answer and ends with the call to humility. From start to finish, it reminds us that wisdom is not only about what we know but how we live, how we speak, and how we listen. Now, let us step quietly into Proverbs 16, where God's sovereignty and human choices are woven together in every verse. Now we open Proverbs chapter 16, a chapter filled with reassurance that while we may make our own plans, it is the Lord who establishes every step. Here, wisdom teaches us about motives, humility, and trust in God's sovereign hand. As you listen, let each line remind you that your life is not random. It is guided by a God who delights in righteousness and blesses those who walk humbly before him. Take a calming breath. Imagine yourself laying down your own plans before God, allowing him to shape and guide them. These words are timeless. They are as true for you tonight as they were when first spoken. Proverbs 16. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue, is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Every one that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he mocketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresseth not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. He that laboureth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes to devise froward things. Moving his lips he bringeth evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. What a chapter of balance and surrender. Did you notice? It began with the reminder that the answer of the tongue comes from the Lord, and it closed with the truth that even when lots are cast, the outcome rests in his hands. Proverbs 16 is a gentle call to trust in divine providence. Now, let us continue with Proverbs 17, where the contrasts of peace and strife, love and betrayal, become even clearer. Now we turn to Proverbs chapter 17, a chapter that brings wisdom into the most personal spaces of life, our families, friendships, and daily choices. Here we learn that peace in a household is better than feasting with strife, that loyalty and love are treasures, and that even in laughter, the heart is tested by the Lord. As you listen, let your heart soften. Think of these words as gentle corrections from a loving Father, words meant not to condemn, but to guide and protect. Proverbs 17. Better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith, than an house full of sacrifices with strife. A wise servant shall have rule over a son that causeth shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but the Lord trieth the hearts. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his Maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. A gift is as a precious stone in the eyes of him that hath it. Whithersoever it turneth, it prospereth. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore leave off contention, before it be meddled with. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man void of understanding striketh hands, and becometh surety in the presence of his friend. He loveth transgression that loveth strife, and he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. He that begetteth a fool doeth it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool hath no joy. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Wisdom is before him that hath understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bare him. Also to punish the just is not good, nor to strike princes for equity. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Notice how this chapter begins with a simple but profound truth. Better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith, than an house full of sacrifices with strife. Peace, even with little, is a greater blessing than abundance filled with conflict. And with that gentle lesson resting in our hearts, we continue to the next portion. Proverbs 18, where words, wisdom, and the power of life and death in the tongue come sharply into focus. Now we open Proverbs chapter 18. This chapter shines a light on the power of words, how they can destroy or heal, divide or unite. It also shows us that wisdom is found not in self-isolation but in seeking counsel, and that ultimately, true security is found in the name of the Lord. As you listen, let your breathing slow, and imagine each verse as a quiet lamp placed along your path, ensuring you do not stumble in the dark. Proverbs 18. Through desire a man, having separated himself, seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. A fool hath no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. It is not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as an high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift mocketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. The lot causeth contentions to cease, and parteth between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. The poor useth entreaties, but the rich answereth roughly. A man that hath friends must shew himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Pause for a moment and let verse 10 sink into your heart. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Imagine yourself tonight, resting in that tower, guarded and secure, far above fear or anxiety. And notice how this chapter ends, with the picture of a true friend who is closer than a brother. It is a beautiful reminder that God Himself, in Jesus, is that faithful friend for us all. Now, let us move on to Proverbs 19, where wisdom stretches further, speaking about honesty, patience, and the richness of fearing the Lord. We now turn to Proverbs chapter 19. This chapter reminds us that true wealth is found in integrity and reverence for the Lord, not in riches or empty words. It speaks to honesty, discipline, kindness, and the blessings of patient faith. As you listen, imagine yourself resting in God's presence, where correction is a gift, wisdom is a shield, and the fear of the Lord leads to life. Let these words be like a gentle covering over you as you prepare for deeper rest. Proverbs 19. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity, than he that is perverse in his lips, and is a fool. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Wealth mocketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment. For if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware, and reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. He that wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame, and bringeth reproach. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. Take comfort in verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. What a gentle assurance that kindness shown to others is seen and rewarded by God himself. Now, let us move to Proverbs 20, the final chapter in this section, where the themes of integrity, justice, and the fear of the Lord come together in a powerful conclusion. We have now reached Proverbs chapter 20, the closing chapter in this middle section of Proverbs. Here, the Lord calls us again to integrity, honesty, patience, and reverence. Every verse serves as a reminder that life is not measured by quick gains or empty words, but by the steady walk of righteousness under God's watchful care. Let your heart be still as you listen. Imagine these words as guiding stars in the night sky, each one placed there to keep you on the path of wisdom. Proverbs 20. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. The fear of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? The just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin? Divers weights and divers measures, both of them are alike abomination to the Lord. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure, and whether it be right. The hearing ear, and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even both of them. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. It is not, saith the buyer. But when he is gone his way, then he boasteth. There is gold, and a multitude of rubies, but the lips of knowledge are a precious jewel. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. Whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Lord, and he shall save thee. Divers weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. A wise king scattereth the wicked, and bringeth the wheel over them. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly. Mercy and truth preserve the king, and his throne is upholden by mercy. The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil, so do stripes the inward parts of the belly. Notice how this chapter asks a piercing question in verse 9. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin? It reminds us that true purity comes only from God. With this, the words of Proverbs 11 through 20 are now complete. One final message remains, a gentle outro to gather all these lessons and prepare you for the last section of this journey through Proverbs. You have now listened to Proverbs chapters 11 through 20, a treasury of wisdom that contrasts light and darkness, righteousness and folly, life and death. Think for a moment of all the themes woven together: honesty, humility, patience, diligence, the power of words, and the certainty that the Lord weighs the heart. As you let these words echo within you tonight, notice how Proverbs does more than instruct. It protects. It shows us that the righteous are sheltered by God's favor, while the path of the fool crumbles beneath their feet. It calls us to integrity in our homes, kindness to the poor, reverence for parents, and trust in the Lord who directs every step. If you look back across these chapters, you'll see a pattern. Wisdom guards those who embrace it. Fools are destroyed by their own choices. God honors righteousness and delights in humility. These are not just old sayings. They are living words, breathed out by God, and they still speak to you tonight. Pause now. Breathe slowly. Let your heart rest in the truth that wisdom is not beyond your reach. It is calling to you, inviting you to walk the path of life. You don't need to strive for perfection before God loves you. Rather, His word gently guides you so you may flourish under His care. As we close this section, I encourage you to hold on to one verse that spoke most deeply to you tonight. Perhaps it was, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe." Proverbs 18 verse 10. Or maybe this, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones." Proverbs 17 verse 22. Whatever word touched you, keep it close. Whisper it as you fall asleep. Let it guard your thoughts, and allow it to become part of your breathing tonight. And as always, remember that your support matters deeply. Your simple act of liking this video, leaving a short comment, or subscribing helps bring God's word to more souls who are longing for peace, guidance, and rest in His presence. Together, we are spreading wisdom and hope. Now prepare yourself for what comes next. The journey is not yet complete. Ahead lies the final section of Proverbs, chapters 21 through 31, where the richness of God's wisdom comes to full bloom, with guidance for life, family, leadership, and faith. So rest tonight with expectation. Tomorrow, we will step into the final pages of this sacred book, where wisdom crowns its teaching with vision for the future. For now, close your eyes. Let your body sink into rest. May the words of Proverbs 11 through 20 wrap around you like a soft blanket of truth, protecting you through the night. Sleep in peace. Sleep in safety. Sleep in the care of the one who never slumbers nor sleeps. As we begin the final chapters of Proverbs, the book of wisdom comes into its most practical and powerful form. These last sayings carry themes of justice, humility, family life, leadership, and the noble example of a virtuous woman in Proverbs 31. Here we enter the closing journey of Solomon's treasure chest of wisdom, a journey that began with the call to listen and now draws to its conclusion with words meant to shape how we live, how we love, and how we walk with God each day. This is not merely an ending, it is the crown of wisdom, tying together everything we have heard before. These chapters remind us that choices have consequences, that pride brings a fall, and that true honor belongs to those who live with humility and faithfulness. And in the very last chapter, we are given a picture of the noble woman, a timeless vision of strength, dignity, and love that blesses her family and glorifies God. So take a slow breath, release the weight of the day. Allow your heart to rest as these words of wisdom flow over you. Each verse is not only instruction but also comfort. Every proverb is a lamp for your path and a gentle reminder that God's wisdom is never far from you. Now, let us continue together with Proverbs chapter 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. An high look and a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked, is sin. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of every one that is hasty only to want. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, because they refuse to do judgment. The way of man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. When the scorner is punished, the simple is made wise, and when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. A gift in secret pacifieth anger, and a reward in the bosom strong wrath. It is joy to the just to do judgment, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Proud and haughty scorner is his name, who dealeth in proud wrath. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor. He coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind. A false witness shall perish, but the man that heareth speaketh constantly. A wicked man hardeneth his face, but as for the upright, he directeth his way. There is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Lord. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. Proverbs chapter 22. Before we move into chapter 22, pause for a moment. Feel how the words we've just heard about justice, humility, and protection from the Lord are still resting in your heart. Proverbs now continues with truths that shape daily life. How we treat others, how we raise children, and how wisdom guards us from harm. Let your spirit stay calm and open as these verses gently guide you. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches, and honor, and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out. Yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips the king shall be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The slothful man saith, There is a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Bow down thine ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips, that thy trust may be in the Lord. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written to thee excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee? Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For the Lord will plead their cause, and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Remove not the ancient landmark, which thy fathers have set. Sayest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. As we turn the page to chapter 23, the voice of wisdom grows even more practical. These verses speak about self-control, about avoiding greed, envy, and drunkenness. They call us to discipline our hearts and to treasure instruction. As you listen, allow these words to guide your thoughts gently toward contentment and peace. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is mighty. He shall plead their cause with thee. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice, when thy lips speak right things. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begot thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. Proverbs chapter 24. Before we begin chapter 24, notice how the last chapter warned against envy, greed, and drunkenness. Now the wisdom turns toward justice, perseverance, and the value of wise counsel. These verses remind us that strength is not found in anger or numbers, but in wisdom and in the fear of the Lord. As you listen, let your mind rest and receive. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. If thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again. But the wicked shall fall into mischief. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked, for there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change, for their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that saith unto the wicked, Thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them. Every man shall kiss his lips that giveth a right answer. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. Proverbs chapter 25. As we begin chapter 25, notice the shift in tone. These are additional Proverbs of Solomon, collected later by the men of King Hezekiah. They carry a timeless authority, urging us to honor, to avoid pride, and to seek wisdom with humility. Take this chapter slowly, letting each verse calm your heart as night settles deeper. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height, and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and discover not a secret to another, lest he that heareth it put thee to shame, and thine infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. As an earring of gold, and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him. For he refresheth the soul of his masters. Whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth, and a foot out of joint. As he that taketh away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon nitre, so is he that singeth songs to an heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. The north wind driveth away rain, so doth an angry countenance a backbiting tongue. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman and in a wide house. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain and a corrupt spring. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search their own glory is not glory. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Proverbs chapter 26. Chapter 26 offers vivid pictures, reminders of folly, laziness, strife, and deceit. These proverbs are sharp in their imagery, but even in their warnings they guide us toward wisdom, patience, and integrity. Let each word settle, not as harshness, but as gentle correction from a loving Father. As snow in summer, and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet, and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. The great God that formed all things both rewardeth the fool, and rewardeth transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Sayest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, am not I in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hatteth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hatteth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Proverbs chapter 27. Chapter 27 draws our hearts to themes of friendship, humility, and the wisdom of preparing for the future. These proverbs remind us not to boast of tomorrow, but to value honest counsel, faithful friends, and diligent care for our responsibilities. As you listen, let each word rest in you like a seed of steady wisdom. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous. But who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend, and thy father's friend, forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the fining pot for silver, and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass sheweth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goats' milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. Proverbs chapter 28. Chapter 28 emphasizes the contrast between the righteous and the wicked, between honesty and corruption. It reminds us that integrity brings boldness, but sin brings fear and downfall. As you listen, let these verses encourage you to walk in light, to trust the Lord's justice, and to rest in his covering. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness, than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shameth his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination. Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit, but the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth alway, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanteth understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, But he that mocketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother, and saith, It is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Proverbs chapter 29. Chapter 29 gives counsel about leadership, justice, discipline, and the danger of pride. These verses remind us that true stability comes when people honor God, and that correction is an expression of love. As you listen, let these words anchor your heart in peace and trust. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord lighteneth both their eyes. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. Sayest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing, and bewrayeth it not. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. We now enter Proverbs chapter 30, the sayings of Aga son of Jacob. This chapter feels different, almost poetic, filled with humility, wonder, and lists that draw our eyes to creation. Here wisdom is not just advice but reflection, confessing human weakness and lifting up the greatness of God. Listen closely, for these words carry a tone of reverence and awe. The words of Aga the son of Jacob, even the prophecy, the man spake unto Ithiel, even unto Ithiel and Ucal, surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom, nor have the knowledge of the holy. Who hath ascended up into heaven or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full, and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor, and steal, and take the name of my God in vain. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. There is a generation that curseth their father, and doth not bless their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation, whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. The horseleech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied, yea, for things say not, It is enough: the grave, and the barren womb, the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith not, It is enough. The eye that mocketh at his father, and despiseth to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it. There be 3 things which are too wonderful for me, yea, for which I know not: the way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth, and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. For 3 things the earth is disquieted, and for 4 which it cannot bear: for a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat, for an odious woman when she is married, and an handmaid that is heir to her mistress. There be 4 things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make they their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth all of them by bands. The spider taketh hold with her hands, and is in kings' palaces. There be 3 things which go well, yea, for are comely in going: a lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any; a greyhound, and he goat also; and a king, against whom there is no rising up. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. Surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood. So the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife. We now arrive at the closing chapter of Proverbs, chapter 31. It begins with the counsel of a mother to her son, King Lemuel, and ends with the timeless picture of the virtuous woman. These words are like a crown placed at the conclusion of this book, reminding us that wisdom is not only about thoughts, but about how we live, love, serve, and bless others. Listen with a quiet spirit, for these final verses carry a beauty that lingers long after the words are spoken. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son? And what, the son of my womb? And what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She mocketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She mocketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Beloved, you have now journeyed through the entire book of Proverbs. From the first call of wisdom in the streets to this closing vision of noble living, you have walked chapter by chapter through God's treasure of instruction. This is no small thing. You have allowed your heart to hear every word of the Lord's wisdom. I want to thank you deeply for being here until the end. Each night we open His Word together, and each night He plants seeds of peace, strength, and understanding within us. May these chapters never be just words to you, but living truths that guide your steps. Now let me bless you. Heavenly Father, I lift up this listener into your presence. Let the wisdom they have heard take root in their soul. Give them peace that flows like a river, clarity for their choices, and rest for their weary heart. Guard their sleep tonight, Lord, and let your angels surround their dwelling. May they rise in the morning with renewed strength and confidence in your ways. If this journey has blessed you, I invite you kindly, subscribe, like this video, share a comment, and pass it along. Not as a favor to me, but as a way of spreading God's word to those who long for light in the darkness. And now rest. May the Lord's wisdom guard you tonight and every night. May you sleep in His presence, safe and secure. Peace be upon you, beloved child of God. Amen.